today's movie was literally a recommendation from someone within the Horde that they recommended to me just after Easter last year. So I've been holding on to this one for a while, but as it's Easter Friday, the day that this video goes live, I couldn't really resist the opportunity to do a movie about a massive man-rabbit hybrid. But if you don't know anything about Bunny the Killer Thing from 2015, let me quickly fill you in. Bunny the Killer Thing from 2015 is a Finnish horror comedy. A group of friends travel to an isolated cabin in the middle of the woods to spend the weekend. Unbeknownst to them though, a half-human monster is lurking in the woods, looking to satisfy his sexual needs. If you're new here, I'm Hannah and I am the head of the Horde, and if you're not new, welcome back. I talk about horror movies here on my channel on Mondays and Fridays, but as always when it comes to watching movies that I have never seen before, I'm now going to go and watch Bunny the Killer Thing off camera, so that way if you too want to watch the movie about the giant bunny were hybrid thing, nothing will be spoiled for you, because nobody wants to watch a movie that you've just watched somebody else watch from start to finish, and I keep it spoiler free here on my channel because nobody, and I mean nobody, likes spoilers.
I want you to think about what you've done.
I'm gonna need to bleep this, but what the fuck did I just watch? I need to start by saying that this movie does not have subtitles on Amazon Prime, and as I don't speak Finnish, I could only understand half the movie. The movie couldn't afford subtitles. That's how low its budget is. So I'm sorry, Amazon Prime. Like, this was, yeah, it was going to be a rough one from the beginning. I don't speak Finnish, and I was curious as to what percentage of the UK did. So I did a quick Google search. The main language that is spoken in England by 91.1% of people is English. In this survey, the number of people that speak Finnish is so low, it doesn't even have a percentage. Like, the National Board of Statistics doesn't even know how many people speak Finnish. Like, 0.5% of people within the UK speak Urdu or Punjabi, which means around 345,000 people speak each of those languages. Finnish is less than that, so hardly anybody here within the UK is actually going to be able to understand this movie from the get-go. So, a good job, Amazon Prime, because it would have been nice to be told that, you know, this one doesn't actually have subtitles.
Are you serious?
Now, trying to keep this one YouTube friendly is going to make me sound insane, but I know that some of you get a kick out of me describing movies this way. So this one, let me tell you, you are in for a treat with this one, because how the hell do I describe a movie about a 6-foot were-rabbit who humps his victims to death and then windmills his human eggplant to show dominance while screaming at the top of his lungs a word that is often used to describe Lady Garden. Thank you, Jeremy Clarkson, for that one. Well, that describes the plot for the most part, but we'll try and go a little bit more into detail. The movie kicks off with a man from England being injected with the world's fattest needle that I have ever come across in a movie before, and turning him into a giant pervert bunny rabbit. It then cuts to a group of people from Finland who pick up 3 guys from Britain in their car. One of these guys is desperately trying to be Vinnie Jones, but there is only one Vinnie Jones, so I'm not here for Poundland / Dollar General version of Vinnie Jones. And then all of a sudden, Bunny the 6-foot pervert turns up, and we'll say that's the description for the movie of this. This movie just feels like it's trying to come off as funny or offensive, and it comes across as neither and just comes across as weird. You know, like how South Park sort of walks that very fine line between like being really offensive and being really funny, because as far as they're concerned, everybody is fair game, so you can't take it personal because they're going to take a stab at everybody. Yet in this, it's not quite that case. There is a lot of essay content in this. And there is one scene in particular that rubs me right up the wrong way, and it involves a woman who has been spiked, who is lying on a bed. There is a man hiding in the closet watching all of this happen, and another woman comes in and starts to essay the girl who is flat out on the bed. Like, as a queer lady, like, absolutely not. Like, absolutely not here for this. But I wish that this was the only scene of SA in this that doesn't involve Bunny the killer rabbit. But it doesn't, because everybody seems to be up to this in this movie. Like, these people, every single one of them is questionable. Don't trust a single one. Like, would you rather be in a room with the people in the cabin or with the killer rabbit? In this case, I'd rather take my chances with the killer rabbit. Ew! To add to this insanity, there's Bunny trying to put his human eggplant in anything that moves. There is, like, a kidnap plot. There's a woman who I think is supposed to have herpes, but I can't tell you because there's no fucking subtitles. Like, this movie is what, the ending of this movie is what, if you've got a furry kink, like, oh, this movie is going to do something for you with that ending, and that's all I can say on that.
We've got a kink, we've got a kink, we've got a kink.
I was just waiting for Mr. Black and Mr. White to start making out, because the tension between those two guys, like, I nearly got it, but then they went and ruined it by absolutely, like, going full blue balls with that line in the plot. Like, was I offended by this movie? No. Did I find it funny? No. Was I absolutely weirded the hell out by it? Oh, absolutely I was. Like, this is possibly one of the weirdest things that I have ever seen. And that is saying something. Like, no one can ever come for me now for liking the Borowaguchi movies. Like, the man, like, no, you can't come for him and his weird-ass Japanese horror comedies, because it's perfection over what the hell I just watched. This certainly has a very, very niche audience. Like, this entire plot feels like a fever dream, and the ending was somebody who was having a fever dream while high on acid. That is the only way I can describe. Like, the writer of this was hanging out with his girl Molly, if you know what Molly is, and the two of them got together and said, you know what, let's just go with something so weird and off the wall that nobody's gonna quite believe what they're saying. Because did I expect that ending? No. But like I said, if you've got a furry kink, you're in for a treat. No! Bunny walks around, or hops around, the entire movie with his human eggplant out and swinging about. And all I can say is, as somebody that used to work at a drag show where we had an adult toy used as a prop in the Little Mermaid Part of Your World number that was literally the size of my forearm from wrist to elbow and as thick as my arm, Bunny ain't a threat. Like, come on, that skinny undercooked sausage thing, like, it's clearly a man in a mascot suit that they've cut a hole in the crotch of, and he is wearing a harness that is usually worn by ladies that like ladies and, you know, like to give their partners a good time, or by ladies who just have partners that like to be on the receiving end of a good time, we'll say. Like, that's what it is. That's what it is. There's no denying what it is. All I can say is I hope that Bunny the Killer thing never comes across Big Ronnie from the Greasy Strangler, because Big Ronnie will give this guy a size complex, and that is say, like, the fact as well that this is not the first, like, human eggplant POV that I've ever come across is also wild, because that privilege goes to One-Eyed Monster from 2008. The fact that there are two movies that give you a peen POV is mad. We'll call it a POV. We'll make it a thing. I wonder how many more movies have actually done this. I do not want to start a list in the comments. That is not an invite. No. There is one thing that this movie has going for it, and that is its kills, when it's not Bunny shoving his human eggplant into things. Like, one poor girl in the snow, absolutely not. Like, you're supposed to plow snow and she gets something else absolutely plowed instead, and that looked like it hurt. Like, the kills that don't involve that, they're great. They're bloody and gory. When Bunny smashes a guy's head against a nail sticking out of a door, that's the best kill in the entire movie, because, dear God, I love a skull crush. In the end, I am actually going to give Bunny the Killer thing from 2015 a 1 out of 5 stars. And this is absolutely because this movie is not for me. There is far too much essay in this movie, and it particularly weirds me out that there is an essay scene in this between two queer, like one woman who is like clearly into the other woman, and there's a creepy perverted man watching the entire time from the closet who isn't going to do anything to interfere. Like, that scene, absolutely not. Like, this movie is wild. Like, there's gonna be people out there that absolutely love this movie because of how absurd it is. But for me to say that this is too absurd for my taste because it's going into some strange territory is saying something. The fact that half the movie is in Finnish and there's no subtitles absolutely kills the vibes as well. Like, I can't tell you who any of these people are because unless they say their names in English, I can't tell you what they're called. It's very different to the last time I saw a movie that happened to have a were-rabbit in it, and all I can say is Wallace and Gromit Curse of the Were-Rabbit may never be the same again. So, to James, who recommended this movie, thanks. This was possibly the weirdest thing that I have ever seen, which is saying something coming from me, and no one can ever come for me again for my love of Noboru Oguchi movies, and for saying that I think the Demogorgon bunnies from Cute Little Buggers are adorable, because I'll take my chances with the cute little buggers over Bunny the Killer Thing any day of the week. But my opinion isn't the only one that matters, which begs the question, should you personally watch Bunny the Killer Thing from 2015? If you like your horror movies flavoured with characters getting wasted, spicy were hybrids, chesty besties, severed human eggplants, bro humour, or anything that's listed here, you will probably like Bunny the Killer Thing from 2015, and let me say that over on Letterboxd, those that love this movie really love this movie. So there you have it, my initial thoughts and my review for my first time watching Bunny the Killer Thing from 2015. And if you've also seen this one, please feel free, tell me in the comments section what you thought of this one, because this movie is weird, like well and truly weird, and that's coming from me. If you would like to watch the movie, check the link in the description bar because there'll be a link to justwatch.com so you can find out where it's streaming in your country, but please bear in mind it will probably not have subtitles for the Finnish bit because it certainly doesn't on Amazon Prime, but I can't guarantee that for everywhere. If you would like to know where else you can find me, I am also over on Instagram and Letterboxd at HordesOfHorror, but also in the description bar there's a cheeky little link to my Patreon if you want to go and have a look over there at some of the extra content that I post that's not here on YouTube. But speaking of YouTube, I'll be back on Monday with another solo movie review, and this time we're back into the 6 movies that I wanted to prioritise watching over the spring. And it's about time that we head to a British movie. Because did you know that England has crocodiles in it? Because that is the starting point for The Hatching from 2014. Because that's right, the southeast of England has suddenly got a gator problem. But until next time, bye.